Can you talk about the horizontal learning?
Yeah.
Because that's really cool.
Well, horizontal learning. Well, I got my education degree, and when you go through education or university, I guess it's like they teach you to read the curriculum, and they teach you how to write lesson plans and such. But when you look at the curriculum, it's not relevant to our cultural ways, or even our way of thinking, or the way we do things, or and our place. It doesn't address our history, or it doesn't really accept us in a way, or especially our youth, into these classrooms the way it should be. So when I came here to Leading Thunderbird Lodge, and at that time I was just kind of still trying to teach the way we're supposed to be teaching, which is the traditional teaching, I guess. And right away I realized that the boys that we were getting were very turned off by education, and they just hated school. And I was the same way when I was young, and I remember I only spoke my language, and I remember I was held back 2 grades until I started to speak English. And I surely didn't understand what I was reading or what was being taught, because it wasn't relevant to who I was, to our relation, or to what our territory or lands offered or teach us. And it was totally foreign. And based on that, so when I look at the boys, I say, wow, they're going through the same thing what I went through, and that's when I start to really think, how did my grandparents really teach me? And so I really start thinking about, wow, they taught us by season how to do things, certain prepping and preparing and learning with the season, and certain things are during the winter they will only think and teach and talk about creation stories or trickster stories, and they would talk about all the stars, and even speaking the English, like the stars, we don't say stars, we say son, and all those things. They used to talk about those things, and that's how I wanted to really, and we did a lot of things all hands on, and that's how horizontal curriculum came to be. I always say it's nothing new. It's just our old way of doing things, and our old people, the way they used to teach, and that's what it is. And so horizontal curriculum is very hands-on, culturally based curriculum that meets also the outcomes of SAS education or any province. And the outcomes, what I did is, you might have native studies, but I wanted to go deeper, even providing sweat lodges, even taking them to sun dance, and then or rain dances, even with the science. Why sit in class and try to study? Let's get them out on the land and really get to know Mother Earth. That's science. And then stretching the hide of an animal, scraping their. What are all those stories? Creation story. What's science? What's math? Part of that, And that's where, kids can learn their circumferences, radius, diameters, and the plane by making a hand drum. And the most important thing that I really didn't want to stress is that education. The word education just really didn't set right with a lot of these boys. So if we're just showing these cultural activities, then they're just doing it. It's like, you just did math,
Yeah.
and they didn't realize they did math, right? Even when we actually do a lot of the traditional games,
Mm-hmm.
and some are kind of related to like lacrosse or hockey, that kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
But all that goes it meets the phys ed curriculum, Even I tell them, if we go mow the lawn and pick trash in the yard of an elder, that's part of physical education.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're practicing generosity,
Mm.
humility, helping, giving, caring. I said, those are the values that you're really learning about, right? So that's so a lot of the lessons, or even lesson plans, and or even certain areas of credits that being offered through horizontal curriculum is just very based on culture.
Yeah.
Cultural education. That's what it is. And yeah, it's just sometimes it's tricky, but I know we always push the limit, I guess. Yeah, and it does, and it works for all boys. And I find that we've been doing it for the last, I don't know, 8-9 years, that boys really, like kids, youth, they really respond very well to it. And then and they, in a way that they understand. Not so that's why a lot of these curriculum outcomes, I really try to meet the needs of their language, their cultural, and their kingship, and the elements, right? And then to understand the natural law and the ceremonies that are involved with it. So, like, as an educator, I sweat with my students every week.
Yeah.
And we do things by the season, like right now we went through spring. Our students were helping out with sun dances and rain dances, all the ceremonial doings,
Mm-hmm.
and we encouraged them to have questionnaires for elders, for their own understanding and acquiring knowledge, right? Because what I always tell about knowledge and wisdom, I tell them, is that I can't give you wisdom. I can give you knowledge. When you get that knowledge, the more you practice that knowledge, it becomes a wisdom. And so that's why I tell them, that's why it's important to practice. Don't let it just sit there or just have it in your mind, but you don't practice it. I tell them, but you gotta practice it.